Hello, and welcome back in here to Winchell's World. And this is the Memorial Day edition. Well, anyway, it's Monday. I usually put out a video on Monday, so today just happened to be uh, Winchell's World Monday, it being Memorial Day. And today on Memorial Day, I got this pipe y'all seen before, and this particular tobacco. And I had some of this some time back and went through it and smoked it. And so I think before I start putting out these here pipe related videos, I've been putting out videos since about 2017, but they never really took off until I made one on International Pipe Smoking Day. So it took off from there. So anyway, back during that time, sometime or another, then why, whenever it was, sometime back, I went through a tin of this right here, and I don't remember what the world's in it, other than this tobacco, because the back of this tin don't tell what the blends are. Just let you know real quick that you don't want to smoke this out in California, 'cause it can cause cancer and birth defects out there. So don't be smoking this here stuff in California. And so, and it's put out by, it says made in Germany and imported by Sutliff. So, if there's any of that left anywhere, well, you can try you some of it. But anyway, I acquired a tin of it. Oh, I don't know, first of the year sometime or another. I had me some Caldwell spring water. So what y'all doing on Memorial Day or Memorial Day evening? Or you may be looking at this on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I know people's looking just here and yonder all the time. So anyway, well, I'm gone out. More than likely, it's got some Virginia tobacco in it. You folks that like a little peppery taste to it, why, it's got some of that to it. I don't smoke it every day, so I think I had some one day last week, and I can't, of course, you can see how big a tin that is there. I kept the tin. I thought, well, who knows what I'll wind up putting in it, screws or some loose nails or something else. Sure can't store no tobacco in it, mess around and dry it out. But it's dried out in that jar. I don't guess that's too popular of a blend or something other. It didn't dry out in the jar. It was dry when I put it in the jar. I need to cut. Next time I think about it, I get an apple to eat. I save a piece of the core or something like that, and put it off in there, moisten it up again. Well, I guess you saw the kind of flag I fly out here right now. I've flown the American flag, it wore out. I've flown the Confederate flag and it wore out. So, oh, I don't remember now when it was, first of the year, something like that. I at a flea market picked up that Gadsby's flag, so I'm flying it out in the front yard now. And it wears out. I don't know what I'll get. They don't make the Bonnie Blue flag. They don't make the Bonnie Blue flag in an affordable price. They're pricey. Of course, when I call it the Confederate flag, why, if I'd have called it what some folks call it in history, which would be the Christian Cross of St. Andrews. Now, if I'd called it that, majority of you wouldn't know what I was talking about, would you? You know, first Memorial Day, if my facts are right, and I'm not a historian. I like history, but I don't stay on top of it, and I don't haven't tried to get access to original documents like a true historian would do. But from what facts I've gathered, the first Memorial Day was held in 1866 at a cemetery in Columbus, Georgia, called Linwood Cemetery. You ever heard of Linwood? He's a famous attorney that's under fire by the powers that be. But there's a woman by the name of Lizzie Rutherford Elliott. She wanted to commemorate the graves of fallen Confederate soldiers. So she, that's the first decoration day. And that's what folks used to call it, you know. Well, we gotta go decorate the graves, you know. We got decoration day. So usually they did that on Sunday. And I tell you where I got my facts at about this here Memorial Day that I just gave you was from a YouTube channel called Brian McClanahan. He's a PhD, got to earn PhD in history. He teaches out of college now. And like I say, he's got a channel here on YouTube, and it's called the Brian McClanahan Show. He comes on, I think, 3 days a week. And so he talks about history and relates it to what's going on in our day and time. And so he's authored several books. And so anyway, some of you, I think I've mentioned his channel before. Some of you are familiar with his channel. But if you like history and you like American history, and in particular, if you like the history of the War of Northern Aggression, you know why I said that? Then you'd probably enjoy his channel. So I don't have anybody in my family that didn't make it home from the war that I know of. My granddaddy Wenzel, he served in the First World War. He was born in 1890 something, whatever it was. He served in the First World War, and he was their farrier, or one of them anyway. I say he was their farrier like he was the only one. Well, of course, it couldn't have been the only one because there had to be a bunch of them. And then he served again in the Second World War. So, him and Daddy, he served in the Second World War. And he was a part of that campaign they had there in New Guinea, trying to rid the Japanese. And so he got shot up, and I think it was in April of 1943, I think it was. Got sent back home in a body cast. And so when he finally healed up where he could go to work, he got 50% disability and one leg shorter than the other. And so he become a shoe repairman back in the day because they had used to be, before we had tennis shoes and flip-flops and stuff like that, why people wore leather shoes and boots and leather-soled shoes and boots. So they had to be, instead of buying a new pair, you just took them to the shoe shop and had them repaired. They'd resole them and put new heel caps on them and things like that. So that's what he did for one of the many things that he did for a living. But I know some of you folks are not that fortunate to have your loved one make it back home out of the war. So even though Memorial Day was started for a day of decorating the Confederate graves, and it got popular around South to do that, and then I think it was 2 years later they said that the Northern Army, the North started celebrating, having Memorial Day, decorating the graves of the soldiers. So, but from what Brian McClanahan said, the Southerners decorated the Confederate graves and the Yankee graves too. So, anyway. War is a terrible thing, isn't it? It's a shame that politicians would sell out their hard-working young men to gain some political advantage. And I don't care whether it's in the States or in some, like it was with Japan and Germany. It's a shame that these mad dogs would sell out the young people like that for power, isn't it? When I was 19, I tried to join the service. That fella asked me, he said, "You graduate high school?" I said, "Nope." Or "No, sir," whatever it was. Bobby said, "No, sir." He said, "Well, we can't use you then. We take only high school graduates." Okay. So you got to have a high school diploma to be able to squeeze a trigger. If that'd been the case in the First World War, there'd been absent of one man. And I'm going to tell you something, they'd been absent of a lot of men. If that'd been the case in 1940s during the Second World War, they'd been absent of one man. And not only one man, but a whole bunch of young men. How many people had a high school diploma in the Second World War? I know one that didn't. I tell you the tin note on this particular tobacco. Ooh, boy, it sure do smell good. Mm. And the taste is okay. I ain't real fond of it, but anyway, I got it. I'll work my way through it just like I did the other 10. But it's been so long I couldn't remember what it was like. It ain't bad to me. And if you've had it, and they got it in different colored tins, I never tried the other color. I think they got a green tin and a blue tin, and that's going to be a different mixture. But the only kinds I've had of this psyllium or whatever it is has been this here black tin. So what y'all smoking? I know a lot of you tell me what you're smoking. You sit down to relax and look at these videos. And I happen to be one of them that you watch. And so what y'all smoking? Of course, this here pipe, y'all seen it, whether I told you or not. It's the Peterson System, P-lip, Army mount. Got a bunch of stuff on the bottom. I don't see where it's wrote. 302. Peterson's System Standard. I think it says 302. I've had this pipe for a good while. It took a while to get where it broke in good. But I run about everything through it. I run some white burley in it early today, working in the shop in there. I run first one thing to another through it. Oh, my pipe's a pipe. I use them for what they're made for. So. Well, we had a little rain last night, and it moved on out. We've had mostly a cloudy day with some sunshine. It'd break up a little bit, the clouds would, where the sun would peek in between them. Oh, to rain again tonight. I'll be glad when this cycle's over with and we can have some long, consistent days of sunshine. So get this little garden, get it jumping up out of the ground and get some heat on it. Well, all my chickens back there behind me is laying good. All I got's hens. I get anywhere from, usually get 5 eggs a day. Sometimes I get 6. There's some folks over at church that get some of them. I take some women want to go to church. They get some of them. I get some of them. And the dog every now and then gets one. They say eggs, raw eggs, and the shells and everything's good for dogs. So I give her one every day or two in with her dog food. She likes it. Y'all like eggs? And them chicken tractors I keep them in back there, I guess you're familiar with what I'm talking about. They got wheels on the back of it, and they work much like a wheelbarrow. You know, a wheelbarrow, you pick up the handles and roll it around. Well, I got I got a rope handle on the front of that one there, and then I got handles mounted to the side of it on that other one over there. So one chicken tractor's got older hens in it. They don't lay in the winter. But that other chicken tractor, those hens they started laying this spring. So I got them whenever it was, last, late last fall, I think. So I fed them all winter. Then they started laying this spring, and when they started, well, they took off. And one of them out there, when I had cracked 2 eggs in my skillet this morning, well, when I cracked 2 eggs, well, I wound up with 3. I figured they're as big as it was. That's not unusual. One of them hens have a double yolk in there. Well, I went to a cattle truck. I guess they had their cattle sale up in Stanford today. They have cow sales here in Kentucky, different days. Monday got them over in Mondays and Thursdays. They have them in Stanford. Saturday they have it in Somerset. I don't know when they have them in Lexington, but they just all over the state. They have different sales. Some sell barn sell everything. Anything you want to bring: hogs, cows, calves, goats, chickens. We have a local sale barn around here on Saturday afternoons. You can take anything you want to take: eggs, strawberries, anything you want to take over there. Guineas, roosters, hens, goats, hogs, baby calves, need to be bottle fed. Just anything you want to take over. Horses, they sell everything over there. Yeah, biker's got that peppery taste to it. Well, I guess I'll let you folks go. Y'all get on with whatever you want to do. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate the comments. And again, it's according to when I get a little time to look at comments, how much time I do have and how many of them I have. It's according to how much I say. So don't think I'm short with you, but I might be short with you. So, and I just be honest with you, sometimes I get comments, I don't know what they're talking about. I just don't respond. I don't know how to respond. So, anyway, but that don't happen every time, every week, and it hadn't happened often, but it seemed like to me it happened one time last week on a video that was made last year somebody was looking at. I don't know what kind of response it was. It didn't make no sense. And I tell you something else too. Videos I've made last year, whenever somebody responds about a certain portion of it, I don't know what I said last year. I'd have to go back and listen to the whole thing to be able to give them a intelligent response. So instead of that, then why I just say, well, thanks for watching and commenting. So, yeah. So anyhow, but if you don't have a YouTube channel and you don't have it going on, you don't know what I'm talking about. But in case you ever get to wondering, that's what it's like. So anyway, well, y'all behave yourself. And until we meet again, why, adios.